Hi, and welcome to Something for the Weekend, brought to you as always by Together 2012. We're a community interest company and social enterprise led by disabled artists and based in the main London 2012 host borough of Newham. I'm Ju Gosling, also known as the artist Ju90. I'm artistic director of Together 2012. And with me, where she's been locked down for far too long to count now, is our chair, the artist and activist, Julie Newman. We're going to give you some more audio description and introductions in a moment, but first to the other end of our long virtual wheeled sofa for some introduction and audio description from the West Midlands.
Hello, I'm Tracy Surgeoner and I'm in our West Midlands office. Behind me we've got some red velvet curtains, and today I haven't had my hair cut, it just looks short. I've got long blonde hair which is been it looks like it's been cropped, but it's been held in place by a set of headphones. I'll tell you all about those later. I've got blue eyes, pale skin. I'm wearing a grey t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, and over that I'm wearing a really smart looking black blazer with some silver patterns on it. Yeah, I'll tell you about the headphones later.
All right, well, she's posh. I'm not. So what do I look like? I have artistically dishevelled hair with matching bent glasses still, that are fronting some blue eyes, a little bit unshaven too, and I am wearing a rather old, fadey kind of cream, but actually probably proper button-down shirt, but it's covered in blobs of paint. Again, I will tell you what I'm doing at the weekend now, shall I? Why I'm wearing this shirt?
Tell us what you're dressed up to go out to stay in to do this week.
Yes, absolutely. I am dressed up to stay in to go to a creative, self-reflective, drawing, arts, painting-y type weekend.
That sounds wonderful. And you're going to tell us more about that in the second half of the show when we
Indeed.
recommend things for the week ahead. Right, I'm with you. Tracy, do you want to tell us what you're dressed up to go out to stay in to do?
Yeah, well, a couple of things actually, because
Can I just ask Robin to turn those mics down just very slightly?
I recommended last week that we watch the rap artists, the Rap UK. So I'm getting into the swing of it with this is my sort of rap producer outfit, and that's why I've got my headphones on as well.
That's brilliant. In fact, I watched that last night as one of the things you recommended for the week ahead, and went to sleep thinking, I think rap's just like poetry, but 4 times as fast. But I was very
Yeah.
taken by because had 2 people weren't able to take part yesterday, so I was very taken by the young female poet who joined in, and I think kind of did very well, all things considered. But yes, that is also available on BBC 3 iPlayer. A bit unmissable. I love the idea of you being a rap producer. So
Thank you.
if I manage to write some really fast poems, I know who to come to.
Okay.
We'll come back to East London and let's start with what's behind us. So behind us we have our Together 2012 graffiti banner made as part of our Summer Together programme by our artists in 2014. It doesn't seem that long ago, with the help of the wonderful Graffiti Life, which is based in London. And the graffiti covers all of the different art forms that we cover ourselves during the year, including live music, visual arts, crafts, photography, filmmaking, literature, spoken word, dance, and much, much more. And in front of the banner, our teddy bear Tanny is dressed up for sport and waving a Team GB banner. In the second half of our show, as usual, we will be having our Clockwork Paralympics, competing to see whose teddy bear gets to wear a medal next week. So that's a little bit unmissable. Julie is counting on Tanny winning, and Robin is secure in the knowledge that they seem to win about 2/3 of the Clockwork Paralympics, even though it's actually a game of chance. So finally, on to me. I've got self-styled, hennaed, corona cropped hair, hidden partly at least under a white sun visor with Tokyo, I think, is it Team GB and the Olympic symbols. I've got some pale olive skin. I've got green eyes behind black plastic glasses. I've got black plastic wrist braces, silver coloured jewellery, and I am wearing yet another Tokyo 2021 Olympics t-shirt because for the third weekend running, we are dressed up to go out to stay in to watch Tokyo 2021. And we're only just getting started because the really great stuff comes along in a couple of weeks' time with the Paras. So it's a fantastic summer of sport. And I can reliably say, having lived through Newham and London 2012 and been to some of the events, you get a much, much better seat in last week. Our pop-up poetry club were writing about TV sport. You can still find that on last week's highlights and links page, which is on the pull down menu for our on the Together 2012 TV page on our website. You can go to the pull down menu, highlights and links, and details of everything we recommend today, as well as the photos, videos, and pictures will be up there by about 6 o'clock tonight. So, Julie, you've been very patient. What do you look like? Who are you?
How do you answer that? I'm Julie Newman. I'm the chair of Together 2012. I am patient, it's true. Today I'm wearing my black Tokyo Olympic. What does it say, Ju?
Tokyo 2020 and the Olympic rings.
Yes, it says 2020, which I like. And my T-shirt has let me down because it says Tokyo 21. It's a white T-shirt with black writing, and the insignia, which goes round, which I believe from Robin is supposed to represent something special. I have gold and silver hair. Today it's fashioned again in the style of Spaniel's ears. So, Robin, what does this mean?
Yes.
I
Robin, audio describer extraordinaire. So we're going to get Robin to attempt to audio describe, or at least explain, as our Paralympian, what this logo means.
Okay. So for the Olympics, it is a circle which is made up of black well, mostly squares and rectangles, but it also creates other shapes kind of by the spaces between the squares. So it's a bit like a donut. If you imagine a donut, a ring donut made up of a chessboard kind of rolled up and a little bit out of shape is kind of what it looks like. But it's actually, you know, like all games, there is meaning behind it. And forgive me for just reading a little bit, but it says the checkered pattern on the game's emblem is known as the Ichimatsu Moyo. And it's from a period called the Edo period in between 1603 and 1867. That's very specific timing of Japanese colors. And actually the full logo is actually in indigo blue. And it's all about kind of how the country fits together, the elegance, the sophistication of Japan, and how all its cultures combine together, incorporating the messages of unity and diversity throughout Japanese culture.
So I think we're going to put up on our highlights and links page the link that Robin was just reading from. And yeah, it just sounds so interesting because I've heard of the Edo period, and I think that's spelled IDO.
EDO, actually.
Edo. So anyway, but what I don't know is about different Japanese cultures and Japanese history. Hopefully there might also be some links from the game's website. But now we're going to move on to our pop-up poetry club. Our pop-up poetry club takes place on a Wednesday morning from 10:30 to midday. and it's by phone. We phone you and we pay for the call. So you don't have to have internet access or indeed free phone calls to be able to join in. Julie, do you want to tell us a bit more about what happens on an, the sort of typical week, and then tell us about this week?
A typical week is when about 10:20, when Noel, our engagement support worker, contacts individually each of us by phone, and we hold on and wait for the whole call to continue, which is led by Alison Marchant, the international artist. She's the program leader, and she actually leads the poetry club for us.
And you read poems together, don't you? You share poems that you found elsewhere, and then you've got time out to write poems before you come back and read them to each other?
Yes, each week Alison sets a theme. This week's theme was space travel. And there was a lovely assortment of poems that people had found and interesting facts. So it was a lively discussion. And then there was the break, and then Noel phones us back after the break, and we all join in a similar fashion to how we did initially. And we read out either our poems that we've written, if we've managed to write them and complete them, or else we read a poem on the theme.
And it's a really nice mix, I think, because what we used to do, those were the days long ago when we met in person, is we had some boxes of poetry books that we would put on the table, and later indeed we had shelves on wheels that we could wheel in, and people would almost do a lucky dip of books they fancied, and over a cup of tea we'd go through those books and find a poem we liked and just share it. So now it's much more about searching online to find those poems to share, or indeed lyrics of favourite songs to share have been very popular as well. But I'm going to ask Robin to start, I think, unless you've lined up a poem for Tracy.
No, I got it right this week. So the first poem I'm going to read is from Glory Sengo. Just starts, it's not titled as such. When I was space travelling, I was flying over the Earth. I was going to see Mars. Mars is red. I was going to see the moon. The moon is yellow. And then I went to see all the other planets.
I really like that one. Thank you, Glory. Julie, do you have one for us?
Yes, I have one from Dawn Barber, and it's called Space Travel. I'm entering my spacecraft, shutting the big round door. I sit in my seat, strapping myself in tight. I have all my controls in front of me. It's very exciting now I'm ready to go. I hit the controls and I'm off. I'm going through spirals of different colors. Where they're taking me, I do not know, but I'm having a great time. Then suddenly I hit something. It is the moon. And I'm finally here. I've made it. I know I'll have to go home soon, back down to Earth, but what a day to spend it on the moon, over and out. I just say, I think it's a lovely variation on Major Tom, isn't it?
Yes, I do. And I think one of the things that stimulated it is all these multi-billionaires flying off into space, which is something we can all do much better, I think, in our imaginations. What have you got for us, Tracy?
And I've got one by Crystal Peasy, Space Travel. I like to talk about people travelling to space. Some people travel to Mars. They fly a long way to Mars. Some people also fly to the moon. They travel day and night. Some people travel at night because it's easier to travel. When they come back, they bring something from the moon, from Mars or the moon. And also, I like to travel to the moon, take my crew with me.
Thank you, Crystal. I'd love to see you with your crew on the moon. And of course, it's right, Mars is a very, very long way away. So this one is by Ellen Goody, and it's called Outer Space. Up high and away, where the clouds are, where it rains, where the sun is shining. Up high in space, outer space. It's lovely up here. Mars, Jupiter, Venus, lovely. and blue skies all around me. I'm out in space. I won't be back until 4 a.m. in the morning. Thank you, Ellen Goody. That was great. What do you have for us next, Robin?
Okay, I've got one from Dwayne Bryan, entitled Space Travel. When you go to space, you'll see many things, Pluto, Mars, and shining stars. You'll leave the Earth to a distant berth, and you float like a floating boat. You may see Mars and touch the ground, your national flag on the compound. You jump and float like a bouncing ball. You're so amazed, because this is a first for you. Your shipmates wonder if you're okay. They all hope to see you another day. You have fun. Your day is done, and it's now time to return to your mum.
Lovely, Dwayne. Thank you so much. Julie, do you want to read yours next?
Yes, I'm reading one that I actually wrote last year, I must confess. But when I wanted to try and write a new one for this week's theme, I just kept coming back to this one. So I thought, please forgive me. Yeah, I'll read it out again. It's called Celestial Homesickness. My eyes closed, my mind drifted as I listened to the song of the shipping forecast. Familiar names of unknown places carry me away to dreams within dreams. I swam with the stars and danced on the moon, my feet not heavy, my spirit light enough to carry me up and over the brightness of countless constellations, diving in and out of meteor tails, delighting in the sparks that light the endless night. And then I played with asteroids, relentless in their pursuit of the path that leads nowhere, looking for partners in their timeless flight around the planets. And as I awoke from the dream within the dream, I reached back to the stars and the endless dance, longing again to feel the joy of the light and the wonderful belonging in the night of endless dreams, to join in the dance and play with the stars, forever part of the harmonics that form, calling to all but unheard by many, the glorious song of the universe.
Thank you, Julie. Am I right in thinking that's it for today? Just checking because, yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that I'm someone with short-term memory problems, and we want everybody's work to be shown. So we're going to move on to this morning's art club, also led by our club's programme leader who works part-time for us, and as Julie says, and as indeed the rest of us, is an international artist the rest of the time. So what we do for the Still Life session is we ask you to bring whatever drawing materials or painting materials you have available. It really doesn't matter. Alison sets a picture up that we share over Zoom, but we can also email to you or WhatsApp to you if that's easier, or indeed text. And then she has quite a mindful introduction where she audio describes the image so that everybody, whatever size of device they're using, is very clear about what is being pictured. And as always, I'm going to throw this up on the screen with no warning and ask Robin to audio describe it. And this is the original image.
Well, we are amazed by yet another handbag from Alison. So this one features, it is a handbag and a fan as the basic description. So the fan is propped up against the handbag. The fan has the stiffener along the front in a dark brown wood, and then the fan is basically light brown in the bottom half and then gold in the top half, with a couple of pictures. One I think is a bird, another I'm not quite sure because of the concertinas, but fully open, and then against a black carrier bag, I suppose, almost really shopping bag maybe, definitely a black material, and there are 3 squares in a diagonal pattern running from left to right, down and across the bag, with various I'd have said oriental flower patterns on them, and a rather ragged handle showing that the bag has definitely been used.
Thank you, Robin. Yes, it's got a very Japanesey feel to it, continuing our celebration of Tokyo. So just a quick warning, the app people who run our broadcast seem to be having some problems. So I would like to say that we're going to smoothly move from one picture to the other, but just bear with me because I'm going to actually have to switch them all back on again each time. So here goes. And this is by Lee Brooker, and it's a really gorgeous coloured pencil representation. I mean, what else can I say? It absolutely looks like the picture. Well done, Lee. And this one is by Margaret Spence. I think it might be in pastels. Absolutely beautiful. What Margaret's done is really transform the fan so it's completely golden, and she's lightened the color of the bag, so she's used a pale blue, and that just really helps the three images on it to pop out. And also I had noticed the lining, and I think the lining is red, and we just get a little bit of that red from that. So thank you, Margaret. And then this one is by Sophia. And I'm not sure exactly what Sophia's used, but I think Sophia's used some paint on this. And again, it's a really, really beautiful representation. And finally, this one is by Dwayne Bryan, and Dwayne has done that in pastels. And what I always love about Dwayne is he starts mixing things up. So he's, for example, he's taken the handle, but he's made it almost into horns by missing the top out. And he's taken the pictures from the bag and he's put them over onto the fan. And it just goes to show there's so many different ways of doing a still life. You don't have to use the actual colours, you can manipulate the colours, but you can also change the composition. And I'm really impressed by that. So thank you, Dwayne. Did you want to add anything, Julie?
Yes, I think every week I'm blown away by the standard of both the poetry, the artwork, and the craft work that's produced. And I think it's well worth a shout out to our Together artists who have been working together with us for a very long time now. Some of the guys go right back to 2012, and I'm just always impressed. I just wanted to highlight that because we don't take it for granted. You know, the skills and the techniques that people are showing, as you were explaining about Dwayne, they've been built up over years of hard work.
Well, yes, but I should also say that some of our members, such as Sophia, are very new and we've not met them in person. We're always open to new participants in our club's programme. We have the art club, not just on a Friday, we also have a make and natter session on a Tuesday, where you can either bring your own craft projects or join in with an activity that Alison leads, which is always possible to do just from recycled materials that you have in your home. So we really do welcome new participants. You don't have to come every week. You do need to pre-book these days. You just used to be able to turn up, but these days you actually need to contact us and get a Zoom link. So if you drop us a line to info@together2012.org.uk, we'll send you all of the information you need. We've also got a Youth Together Club session on a Thursday. We have a music club. Well, the music club perhaps is a little bit in abeyance at the moment, but we had a percussion workshop last night and we'll have another one on the first Thursday evening. And in the meantime, on the fourth Monday of this month, we have Dance on Screen Club. And coming up this Monday, indeed, we have our Photographers and Filmmakers Club. So all disabled people are welcome wherever you live and, you know, whoever you want to have with you. So do drop us a line, info@together2012.org.uk. The clubs very much operate on the basis that we've all got something to learn and we've all got something to teach. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before or if you're a professional. We all come together and share and we all get something out of it. But in the meantime, I'm going to move on, and Tracy has got, as always, a join in with Tracy activity from recycled materials. So I'm going to pop the first image up into the stream and hand over to you, Tracy.
Yeah, my idea for this week was just to make some sort of collage picture out of some of the leaflets that had just come through the door this week. So I just chose a couple of things, like a restaurant pamphlet. I think there was some, house insurance and cat products. So there, yeah, I've just got a collection of things that have come through the door. And of course, I've got a bag now collecting lots of bits of things that we use. I never throw anything away now. I keep it all for the craft activities. So yeah, that's what I started with. So, and there you go. I just literally thought I'll take the pictures that I like. So I've got a house. There was a cat. I used some of the box to make some strips out of, and I thought, what can I do with this? I had an idea that I'd like to get grass in there, so I'd cut out some grass spikes and some little, not flower shapes, but just odd shapes out of the sort of pinky purples that I'd got from the Chinese restaurant menu. I thought, right, I'll have a go at this. So basically just put on the cat picture, which was really cute. It was a cat sitting on its own lap. So I just cut out the cat bit that I liked and the house, and I thought, well, I'll just build around it. So I just played with it. There's no way to do it or not do it. It was just about being creative and having a go, really. Started building the picture up. Yeah, so there's my picture. I've started building it up. I mean, it's not perfect, but I enjoy doing it. Sort of tried to make it a little bit 3D by not gluing it down completely, so there were bits that stuck out a little bit, so it wasn't so flat. And this is what I came up with in the end. I was quite pleased with myself.
I think it's absolutely charming, Tracy. So just to give a bit of audio description, you've got on a yellow background, you've got some white clouds in the left-hand corner and some birds. Sterre Ploeger is shielding with Hannah Facey, who facilitated and filmed this. They've been in the middle of a wood in Norfolk for over a year now, which puts our experiences into context. And this is Sterre showing us how she made an ice sculpture.
Hi, I'm Sterre and I made a sculpture using ice and water. It was beautiful. Bye.
Just to give a bit of audio description, thank you, Sterre. What Sterre did to make her ice sculpture was that she mixed paint with water, different coloured paints, put them in different containers of different shapes and sizes and froze them. And then outside she spread what would you call it? So there's some vinyl sheeting or something over the grass, put the blocks of coloured ice onto it, and then tipped water on it to melt it, and it melted into different shapes to make the ice sculpture. So yet again, a very, very clever idea from Sterre. So thank you for that, Sterre. And now it's well past, in fact, time for our Clockwork Paralympics. It's another sprint in the bathroom, so it's only a 10-second race. I'll give you a bit of audio description beforehand. We're still racing Clockwork Meerkats. So if you want to join in from home, choose the right or left side of the screen to support and see if you win. So, Robin, which side of the screen are you going for this week? Okay, we can't hear you. Isn't that extraordinary? So I'm going to put it on anyway, and I think we'll probably assume we've won.
Oh, no, I'm back
Are
now.
you back now?
We're going right side of the screen.
Okay, well, I'm going to pop this film on. It doesn't have, well, I've just turned the sound off just to make life easier for us. So here goes.
Oh, here we are. The new arena. Beautiful, shiny, slippery surface. Let's see. Let's hope none of these trip up as they'll slide off the track as we go. Oh, it's a fantastic race there. Oh, and amazingly, Birmingham managed to win this week. I think London got tripped up by a slight false start there, actually, and lost a bit of power. But we will accept the win. I mean, all circumstances count. Ask Lewis Hamilton. Right.
So we didn't meet your teddy bear.
Oh, well, you didn't, in fact, because it was all going. We have our lovely friend, Mr. Turkey Bear, here, or the bear for turkey, rather than a turkey bear. That's not a strange animal I've never heard of before. Although you've got one.
Yes, we've just been joined by a large, long-haired black cat called Leonardo. I think he wants your teddy.
Yeah, I think we'll just go with today's.
What medal is your teddy wearing this week?
This teddy is wearing a gold medal from the CP World Games in 1986, which took place in a place called Gitz in Belgium.
That sounds great. Well, fortunately, we're at the point in the show where we recommend things online and offline, usually free for the week ahead, that you can do without leaving home. So I'm going to ask you to start, Robin. I'm also getting a slight echo from you. I don't know if you want to turn your monitor down a little bit.
I think today is meant to be a very anarchic Friday. Okay, so the first
it's anarchic. If anybody wants to have a look on our website, we've got a wonderful page under About Us dedicated to the memory of the late David Morris. David led on inclusion for London 2012. Sadly, we lost him very suddenly in 2010. But everything we do is based on David's philosophy, which is both punk and anarchic. And I think even David would say, turn that monitor down slightly, Robin, because I can still hear it. And in the meantime, Julie, what are you recommending? What's your first thing for the weekend?
Following on from the theme of space travel, which I must actually interject, if you don't mind. The theme for next week is a singer I like, or my favourite singer.
Yes, if you'd like to join in from home, apologies. Two things. We will have the picture from the still life up on our highlights and links page. I'm still getting some echo back there, Robin, but that picture will be up if you'd like to try it yourself. So will the poems. And if you'd like to write a poem from home, the theme is
my favourite singer, or a singer I like.
Wonderful. So
shall I tell you my recommendation?
Let's hear from Robin, because we're still echoing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound. We've turned you down to almost inaudible. So whether we need to restart again, I'm not sure, because the sound is completely out of sync as well. So I'll give you my first recommendation, to go with the fact that I am wearing the painter's shirt. as described right at the beginning of the show, which now seems so long ago. There's a workshop tomorrow afternoon, which is called Transferring Concepts to Canvas. It's between 11:30 and 12:30. The link is in the page, and basically we're an artist using oil painting, but of course you can use any painting materials you like to use. But it's about using paint to express how you're feeling. It can be very abstract. It can be using objects. But it talks about using being influenced by what we've known as expressionist artists, which are people who very much are about using paintings to bring human emotions to life. Come almost the opposite of still life, really, I guess. And as I say, and now the only thing I would say about this is that when you go to the website, it says 11:30 till 12:30 European and London time. So just to be safe, if you are interested, check at 10:30 first.
Yeah, Europe is at least an hour ahead, depending on where you go in Europe. Julie.
Yes, following on from the space theme, I found a NASA video, a little film with the history of spaceflight, which I thought was really interesting. And I was amazed at how much had been going on since 1946.
Brilliant. Oh, and we've just been joined by a tabby cat, all desperate to see us. All of my recommendations are linked, so I'm just going to start with the overall recommendation, which is the Edinburgh Fringe Festival opens today and continues as is traditional until the August bank holiday, which this year is right at the end of the month. About a third of the shows are available online this year, which is amazing. And at least 50 of those are free. And there's one central booking link. And it's a very, very good website for the shows as well. You search what you're interested in. You can check a box to say you want to only have the online stuff. You can check another box if you just want the free stuff. It comes up, it will either tell you if it's on demand, which means you can access it anytime, or if it's going out live, it's got a big calendar, just flashes up green, exactly which dates are available. And the first one that I looked at, which indeed is on at 9 o'clock on a Friday and Saturday through the rest of the festival, is part of the Laughing Horse Free Festival online. And it's called Absolutely Themeless. And it's stand up from Jalila Galbraith, Colin Etches, and Rachel Morton Young. One of those is actually on mainland Europe, and I think one's in Bristol and one is somewhere else. And it's presented by Sounds Proper. It's years since I've been able to get to Edinburgh. In fact, I think the last time I was there was about 2009 when I had a show. So I was up there myself for 3 weeks. I had an exhibition. So yeah, can't wait to get to virtually Edinburgh, at least as soon as the Olympics have finished. What have you got for us, Tracy?
Well, actually, I've got a couple of things. The first one is it's a podcast and it's available online at any time because it's released once a week on a Monday. And it's called Good Influence by Gemma Stiles. Gemma Stiles being Harry Styles' sister. And actually, she does this podcast and she brings in different guests. And they just talk about things that are going on in the world today. So particularly for me, I was interested in some of the things around mental health, climate change, disability and body image. I thought that sounded really good. I'd like to listen to that one. Yes, I think it's just a good thing to be doing. I know we recommend a lot of things you have to actually do and think about doing, but this is just a listening one. And I thought, sometimes it's just nice to chill and listen to somebody else, listen to their debate, their discussion on things that are affecting our lives today. So I'd recommend that one.
Yeah, I always love your recommendations because if you're listening or watching to something, you're right, it doesn't require quite so much engagement. Robin, what else have you got for us?
Okay, my second one, again, it's kind of a good week really in finding things that fit with our kind of other things we've been doing. And this one is called Family Natural Inks and Dyes. Now, I have to say there is a cost to this one. It's on Monday afternoon between 2 and 4. It's £20 per household. I mean, actually, and I think if I remember rightly, it's coming from Dulwich, which is obviously very close to you guys. But basically, it's an introductory work. Sorry?
There's quite a big river and an awful lot of houses in between.
If you can swim, you're fine. Anyway, so it's an introductory workshop with an artist called Nikki Graham. But actually, it's all about using regular household and recycled materials for creating inks and dyes, using old foods, food that you'd be throwing away, and vegetables and various other basic kitchen stuff to create a stock of your own inks, dyes, colours, whatever you want to call them. And within the show, within the 2-hour workshop, it's going to look at how you might actually create your own botanical designs made from the inks that you've made from your own botanics and veg.
Yeah, that does sound absolutely fascinating, doesn't it? What else have you got for us, Julie?
Well, oddly enough, following on the botanical theme, I went onto the Kew Gardens website, and they've actually got their own YouTube channel, which is free to subscribe to. And there's a lovely video on propagating and planting plants in your garden that encourage pollinators. And I thought, wow, that's lovely. And as I say, they've got their own YouTube channel, so there's a range of things that you can listen to and watch about your garden.
Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed seeing, particularly this year, the bees and the butterflies and the insects coming into the garden. And most of that comes from over 30 years ago, just getting a little packet of, plug plants for shrubs that just said, oh, these shrubs will attract bees and butterflies. And they absolutely do. What else have you got for us from the West Midlands?
Well, we're not to forget that Sunday is the closing ceremony for the Olympics. I'll definitely be lined up, probably with yourselves watching that.
Do you know what time it is?
Oh yeah, sorry, it is 11:15.
11:55.
Oh, is it 11:55?
So just a slightly earlier start than the opening, but probably not much difference. I'm really looking forward to it. I thought they absolutely nailed the opening ceremony. There was just the right mix of respect and distancing and grief, but also some wonderful performances.
Yeah,
very powerful, very moving.
it was. I really enjoyed it as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they close it. But looking forward to that.
And what else have you got for us, Robin?
Well, nothing I've listed. I mean, I guess if it is also the beginning of the football season this weekend. So we have football fans out there. As you know, I'm a QPR supporter. That's not the same as being a football fan in many people's eyes. But not the Premiership doesn't start yet, but the other three leagues all start this weekend. And in fact, the Scottish season started last weekend for all of our Scottish listeners who are football fans as well.
Well, I think it's good for people to know anyway, because if you don't really get into people running round and round in circles, and you kind of lose the will to live when they start jumping into water, then I can see that football is at least another choice. I'm just going to chuck in a couple more from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival then. The Girls of St Trinian's are online on demand from online at the Space UK. And it seems like a very modern take on St Trinian's, because their rally cry is Sisters Before Misters. And they have to overcome financial ruin and a villainous rival headmaster. I just thought it's free, it's on demand, it's unmissable. And also from online at the Space UK, another free unmissable one is the Hip Hop Orchestra Experience, which is an ensemble with a hip hop orchestra from Oakland in California. And there's an MC, a soprano, wind, strings, piano, drums, and a turf dancer, which I have to admit I don't know exactly what a turf dancer is. But they're releasing for Edinburgh 5 new videos from their new album, which is called Death Become Life. And it was filmed at the Asian Art Museum. And also from the US, and with a sort of similar thing, another free on-demand one finally is Cartography of Peace. And it's a cross-disciplinary 32-minute performance work with opera, violin, poetry and contemporary dance. And it's presented by the South Chicago Dance Theatre and the choreographer Kia S. Smith. So they may or may not have been able to get to Edinburgh for real, as it were. You know, lots of foreign companies do come, but we certainly aren't getting over to the US at the moment. So the fact that we'll be able to watch those on demand for the next 3 weeks, absolutely free. It's just something different. But like you say, there's some wonderful things. There's also, I don't have time to mention them, but a whole load of free family shows. You know, Edinburgh is always great for family shows. It really is something for everybody on the festival Fringe. And I just wanted to say well done to the organisers, because they've had to hang on and hang on and hang on and hope that they can open tonight without any kind of guarantee. And all of those companies that are performing live have had to come up with socially distanced ways to perform and outdoor venues. I think people don't realise that most shows at Edinburgh have no funding at all and don't make a profit, to put it mildly. You know, most artists that take a show to Edinburgh lose a lot of money to do so. So again, it's a real privilege to have access to it. But yeah, congratulations to everybody, whether you've got a show up there for real or online, which of course is a lot more real to us because we can access it. I think it's great festival. You know, they managed to have a kind of a digital festival last year, but this is what I would call a real festival. And I just really hope that they continue the online component for everybody who can't get to Scotland, because it's a very expensive thing to go for real. You know, I was very fortunate. Grant funding. So did anybody have anything else, Julie, that you want to recommend?
Well, I found a lovely exhibition put on in Leeds through the list, which is it's a listing of you can actually get it down to free online events. This is a free online event. It's disabled artists portraying their experience in multimedia. You know, not multimedia as such, but mixed media. So there's some sculptures, there's some painters, there's some mosaicists, etc. They're all disabled, and it's their experiences of COVID. And you go onto the site, you click on a thumbnail, and you get a brief biography of the artist and some more of their work.
Brilliant.
I've got one more thing to say, Ju. And I've been reminded by this by looking at your two kitties that have come on for the show, and you've not been able to hear, but our cat has been scratching and crying at the door since the show began. Actually, it's International Cat Day today.
Oh, that's what they're all trying to tell us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is what they're trying to
Hello,
say.
it's International Cat Day.
Yeah, and we've locked ours outside. Oh,
Is that true, Dolly?
Yeah, so this is Jinx, also known as Dolly. She's a small tabby with a bright pink collar, and she said, yes, it is indeed International Cat Day. That's the day when we all have extra treats and we're allowed to appear on the live stream, Tracy, Robin. But there you go. So I think we'll start winding up for today, because in a moment we're going to have some live music as our and finally spot from Robin Surgener, also known as the singer Angry Fish. But just to remind you, coming up next week, in addition to our art club on Tuesday and Friday and our poetry club on Wednesday, we also have our photographers and filmmakers club on Monday, and as part of our Kitchen Carnival ongoing project, we've got a carnival workshop with Clary Salandry, the international carnival artist, again on Wednesday. For any of those details, drop me a line, info@together2012.org.uk, and we'll send you all the details. But from now, we'll say goodbye from East London and hand over to the West Midlands. Dolly's going to give us a wave. No, she doesn't really want to do that.
As ever, I'm as well unpolished as it gets. Having only written this song yesterday, so let's hope it goes okay. This is called "Celebrate Life." Please hold out your hands. Please open up your hearts. Please hold on to hope that we can find a way to start to mend all the bridges, to fix all the broken lives, to stand together as one world we can unite. Bumping elbows, hugs through plastic, celebrate life, challenging, tragic, telling stories, making histories, celebrate life, creating legacies, gender freedom, rainbow liberty, racial harmony, cultural equity, body, empathy, sense of celebrity, choice control and credibility, bumping elbows, hugs through plastic, celebrate life, challenging, tragic, telling stories, making history, celebrate life, creating legacies, gender freedom, rainbow liberty, racial harmony, cultural equity, body, empathy, sensibility, choice control and credibility that brings us back together and builds a better way that blurs the borders and changes our minds. Each tomorrow a brighter day that brings us back together and builds a better way that blurs the borders and changes our minds. Each tomorrow a brighter day. Please hold out your hands. Please open up your hearts. Please hold on to hope that we can find a way to start to mend all the bridges, to fix all the broken lives, to stand together as one world we can unite. Oh, oh, oh. That brings us back together and builds a better way that blurs the borders and changes our minds. Each tomorrow a brighter day. Let's celebrate life. Let's celebrate life. Have a great week. See you next week, Friday. Bye-bye.